What's up, everyone? It's your boy here, the Wise Bubbler, and I'm back to teaching you how to do stuff on the internet. So today, what we're going to do is go over how to build a chat-based app generator, which means you're using plain language in chat to create apps for chat. Now, what does that mean? It's a great question. I'm going to show you an example for a birthday tracking app that I just created in 5 minutes for me to track my friends' birthdays and be able to ask chat like, hey, what birthdays are coming up? And then it'll let me know. So right now I'm in Claude, which is a similar chatbot to ChatGPT. And I'm gonna just say, hey, okay, so I'm gonna say, can you have my friend Jacob's birthday to my birthdays on January 15th? He likes big parties at bars. Okay, so I'm gonna click send. And there you go. So it basically is creating this request for me to send, and you can just click always allow or allow. And it captured everything that I said in the chat, and now it's adding it to my birthdays database. And done, it's added. Okay, now I'm just gonna ask, tell me about any upcoming birthdays. Because this is what I'm gonna generally ask, like, hey, what are my upcoming birthdays? And I want via just chat, no external apps, no Excels, just like, okay, here are your upcoming birthdays. Okay, I got Jonathan and I got Jacob. And Jonathan says that he likes cheese. Okay, interesting birthday request. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to build this yourself. So this is obviously a simple example, but think about it. You can use chat, camera, or anything to build any app you want. So if you want like a time tracking app, I personally have a personal CRM here where I can add contacts, I can get contacts. I built also a time tracker app for contracting hours and an expense tracking app if you have a business. So there's obviously like endless apps you can create. And most people don't realize how simple it is to actually just have them also be created using chat. So let's dive into the tools we use, and then I'll show you how to do it. So the tools we're going to use today are going to be 3 different tools. So the tools we're going to use to actually get this done are Cloudflare and Supabase. Now, you don't need any technical background to be able to use these tools because I'm going to show you exactly how to use them. And the beauty of these apps, or as some people call them, MCP servers, which is just like a language for the app to interact with ChatGPT, is that they work with Claude or ChatGPT, meaning I can go to ChatGPT and ask it to tell me my upcoming birthdays as well. And in the future, if there's new chatbots, you can add it there as well. So basically what happens is ChatGPT or Claude connect to Cloudflare, which basically is a router. It says, okay, you're right now pointing to your time tracking app. So let me send that request to Supabase and get you the hours you worked. Or you're adding a birthday. Let me send that request to the birthday item in Supabase and add this birthday to the database. Or let me pull the birthdays. And so Cloudflare acts as the middleman. And there's a bunch of technical reasons that are annoying as why we need that. But Supabase is actually what holds the data. So basically as an app, you can talk to a database, which is basically an Excel file, or could be a network of Excel files. It holds the data. So when you're saving birthdays, you're actually taking a birthday and saving it somewhere. Think of it like an Excel, and you could save hundreds of birthdays, and then you're retrieving the birthdays. And ChatGPT translates whatever you say in words decides what tool to use. Then it sends that request to Cloudflare, and Cloudflare asks Supabase and says, okay, he asked for birthdays. Can you give me the birthdays for this person? Or he has to add a birthday, or he has to log a time. And then Supabase sends the request back. Okay, so now these are the tooling, and this is how it works. And now we'll dive into actually setting it up and building our first app. Last note before we dive in, Supabase and Cloudflare work completely free. Like, unless you're reaching real scale, the free version should work for you totally fine. Okay, so we're going to start by building the app builder. So the diagram I just showed was how the actual apps work, but now we're going to build the app builder, meaning the thing that we're going to use to be able to generate those apps that then communicate in the way we did. So we're going to use Supabase and Claude Desktop, which means Claude is the chatbot similar to ChatGPT, and we're going to download the desktop version, and then we're going to connect Supabase to it. So then Claude can start working directly with our Supabase. And afterwards, we'll move on to Cloudflare and how we set that up. And then we'll go through an example. So follow along, follow closely, and leave in the comments any questions. So first, we're just going to type in Supabase, which is spelled like this, into Google, open an account, and sign up. I already have an account, so I'm just going to go to the dashboard, project organizations, just create an organization and a project. It doesn't matter too much how you do it. Go to account preferences. And under account preferences, you want to go to access token and then just copy the access token over here. I think you can copy it or generate new token. Yeah, I already have a token. So then what we want to do now that we have the access token is we're going to download Claude Desktop. So the way to download Claude Desktop is to go to claude.com/download and then download the desktop version. Everyone has access to a web version. You may say, why don't I use the web version? You actually need the desktop version in order for this to work. So once you have Claude Desktop downloaded and you went through the process, whatever, from Mac or Windows, you're going to go into Claude on your desktop and open it up. And you should see something like this. So this is the chat interface, standard chatbot. And on the left bottom corner, under your profile image, you're going to see a settings tab. Click on the settings tab, go to developer, and then click edit config. Under config, you're going to see a list of files. This is a file on your computer that tells Claude, hey, connect to this Supabase project. And that Supabase project Supabase account is going to be connected using that access token we just created. That's going to authenticate it. Claude will be able to make changes onto your Supabase account and basically help us generate the apps we need directly on Supabase for us, so we don't need to actually do any of the coding or any of the work. So after you click on the files, you're going to click on this desktop config. So just double click on the file. It's highlighted here. Okay, when you open the file, it'll look something like this. I particularly removed the Supabase access token. So this is basically code that says, hey, connect to my Supabase and to this project. Now I'm going to paste this in the comments or paste this code somewhere so you have access to it. So just go down to the description or comments to see this. Now there's one thing that I did miss here. So first of all, you want to just paste the access token here. Obviously I hid it from you guys. But the other thing is you need to add a project ref. So instead of this, you want to put your own project reference, which is basically which project do you want Claude to access. The way to add a project in Supabase is if you go to Supabase and then you click new project and then you click on the project, you'll see in the URL is the project reference. So you just need to copy that. And then when we go back, you paste it here instead of this, and you paste your access token. And then sometimes when I'm here, I need to click like manage and trust. I don't know why. And then basically you just click command save or whatever. I don't know how you do it on Windows, but you're just saving this file. So you just I just click command save or control save if you're on Microsoft. Obviously you want your Supabase access token inserted here. And then you X out of the file itself. And then I would close Claude. So just quit Claude because you're going to be like, why don't I see it? And then reopen Claude and then go to developer and you should see Supabase here. So that means that it's connected. So now we basically have everything we need for the app generator to run. Now I'm going to show you me building the birthday app on Claude using chat. So before we do that, I just want to go over capabilities, which is the key to getting this done. So some of the example skills here are like brand guidelines. If you're building something, you could say like, hey, use my brand guidelines. And then it'll pull these files from the brand guidelines and basically use your brand guidelines whenever adding anything or designing anything. So one of the things you could do is use the MCP builder skill. And like I said before, MCP is just a like language for apps to interact. But I built my own skill for this that will make sure it gets done because there are just a lot of errors and configuration things. I do charge a few dollars for that. So the link to purchase access will be in the description. But if you're technical a little or like creative, you can definitely use just the built-in MCP builder and kind of figure it out. But if you want something a little bit more reliable, you could purchase the skill. So let's dive in. So I'm just going to create a new chat and write a prompt to create the birthday app. Okay, so the prompt is extremely short. Build me a birthday tracking app where I can add in birthdays of my friends and family and a note on what they like for their birthdays. I want to then be able to ask you what friends have birthdays in the next month or two, and so I can plan accordingly and start. And what I'm saying here is use MCP Supabase OAuth skill and how to build it. That's the custom skill, but you can also switch it to MCP Builder, which is included with every Claude. Okay, let's see how it works. Make sure you're on Opus 4.5. You can see it's working. Afterwards, I'm going to go over creating the Cloudflare account. First, it's going to create everything in Supabase, and then we're going to go to Cloudflare and show you how to configure it. And then we're going to connect it to Claude and ChatGPT to show you that it works with both of them. So what we're going to do is take a little longer. We're going to go and do this on Cloudflare. So first of all, you want to create a Cloudflare account, log in, et cetera, and then go down to compute and AI, and then go on workers and pages. And over here, just click create application and click start prompt with hello world. And then just click deploy. You can name it what you want. So I'm going to call this birthday YouTube. Okay, so you're going to be taken to a page like this. So before we do anything, what we need to do is actually go to settings and we're going to add a variable, okay, over here, which means nothing too crazy, but we're going to call it Supabase URL. Basically, the URL for Supabase with your project ID in the middle. So if you take it out, it just looks like this, and then you just put your project ID. And your project ID on Supabase is basically if you go into your project, just the last item here on the URL. So first we're going to add the Supabase URL, and then we're going to add one more variable called Supabase publishable key. So that's going to be publishable key. And we're going to get this from Supabase itself. So the way you get it is if you go back to Supabase, I'm going to try not to expose my keys here. And you click project settings. And then you go to API keys, okay, on the project settings. And then you click on legacy anon service role key. The top key is going to say anon key, or actually it's going to say anon.public. You want to copy that key and then paste it into your Cloudflare. And so into the publishable key, let's just go back here. You're going to paste the key from there into here. And then you're going to click deploy and see that these two different variables here should look like this. You can see the beginning of the key looks like that. Okay, now let's check back in to our app. Let's see what's going on. Okay, it said it's done and it gave me this checklist of what to do. So it's telling me to add the anon key to the Supabase edge function as well. So what we're going to do now is exactly similar to what we did on Cloudflare. And we're going to go just on Supabase. We're going to take that same key we just pasted and we're going to go to Supabase on our project. So when you're in a project, you're going to see an overview. And if you go to edge functions, and then you want to go to birthdays or whatever the app Claude said it created for you. So I'm just going to say birthdays. And over here, you're going to go to secrets. And we're going to add here a secret called Supabase NM key. And you're just going to add in the same key that we had before and click save. That's it. Okay, coming back to the instructions, it's going to tell you to enable OAuth provider on OAuth 2.0 OIDC. So what that means is we're going to go back to Supabase, and then we're going to go to authentication. We're going to go to OAuth server. And the first thing you're going to do is, it may say like enable. I already have this enabled, but it's going to be enable OAuth server or something like that. And then you're just going to keep the path as OAuth/consent. And then what you're going to do is go to allow dynamic apps and toggle that on, and then click save changes. This is crucial for getting the app working. And then what we're going to do is go to URL configuration. And this is where we're going to add our new app URL to one of the redirects URLs. Over here, it says it's going to happen in step 5. Okay, the consent URL. Okay, now what we're going to do is add the Cloudflare worker code, which means we're going to copy the code from Claude and paste it into Cloudflare. Claude will provide this birthday worker, which is basically the code we need. All we're going to do is copy this code and then go to Cloudflare. So we're on our worker, birthday for YouTube, and we're just going to click edit code on the top right and then paste in the code and then click deploy. And then we're good to go. Okay, we're going to go back here and basically copy this URL. So I'm just going to copy this URL. Okay, we copied the URL and I'm just skipping a few steps, but we're going to go back to Supabase. And over here, we're going to go to URL configuration, and then we're going to add the URL we just got from our worker. So worker.dev, and we're going to move the slash. We don't need that slash at the end. And we're going to click save URLs. And then we should see that URL over here. Yeah, birthday for YouTube /dev. Okay. Now, if we go back to Claude, it's actually just telling us to do it. We just did these steps earlier, and we deployed already our worker, and we just added the consent URL to Cloudflare. MCP is ready to go. And now we're going to add it to Claude and ChatGPT and test out our final app. I know this is a bunch of steps, but if you follow pretty intently, you can definitely do it. And once you get this done once, you can generate any app you want. So then it just becomes like, okay, I need to do these 2 or 3 things, and then I have an app set up, which means I've generated the birthday app originally in like 10 minutes. But now I'm going to show you how to use them and how to connect them to both ChatGPT and Claude. Okay, now that we have the app up and running, we're going to just do step 7 here and connect it to Claude. So the way we're going to do that is go back to Cloudflare, and then we're going to copy this URL. And keep in mind, it says here, we need to put the /birthdays at the end. So every single one you create, assuming you're using the scale, will have a slash. So right now I know it's /birthdays. So I'm going to get the URL from here. Okay, so now I'm going to go to Claude.ai on the web. But actually, let's start with ChatGPT. So I'm just going to go to ChatGPT. I'm going to click on my account here. I'm going to click on settings. And then I'm going to go to apps. And over here, down here, you should see advanced settings and developer mode. So this is what you need in order to create an app on ChatGPT, which is annoying because it removes memory, but soon you'll be able to publish those apps to a marketplace and use them regularly. We're going to keep OAuth here enabled. We're going to call it birthday tool, and then you can add an icon if you want. Birthday tool, and we're going to say, this is used to keep track of my friends' birthdays. Okay, and then we're going to paste it here. And remember, at the end, you have to put /birthdays. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Now, whatever Claude tells you to put, but for me, it's birthdays. And then I'm just going to keep OAuth. I'm going to keep these empty, and I'm going to click create. Okay, then it's going to take you to this screen. In this case, I'm actually going to sign up. And so what I'm going to do is put an email here, and then I just adjust the password. Okay, then I'm going to sign up. And the beauty here is that that's going to make me sign in. Okay, I need to verify my email. All right, now we're going to sign in. And the beauty here is when you build an app using Claude, like you can literally in one prompt create an app that other people can use, meaning other people you can share this with. And then it's going to ask me to authorize to access your birthday data. Sure. Okay. And then it's going to take me back to ChatGPT. But you can see here how this app is not just for you. You can share it with your friends and they'll have their own accounts. And you can see the actions you have available here. Like you can add a birthday, you can delete a birthday, you can list birthdays, search birthdays, upcoming birthdays, update birthdays. So I'm just going to say add Fred's birthday at January 25th. She likes to do very chill stuff and hate surprises. Okay, let's use the birthday app since ChatGPT meets. There you go. Now it's using a tool. So you should see calling tool. There you go. Add birthday. Okay. And then you have to allow it. And then it'll be added to the birthday. There you go. Now it's added to the app. Now what we're going to do is go on Claude and add the same app there. So we're going to go to connectors and we're going to add birthdays tool. And we're going to get the URL again. Okay, we got the URL from our Cloudflare worker and we're going to add at the end birthdays. And that's what Claude used as the identifier for this app. And then we're going to click add. Then we're going to click connect and it'll take me back to that URL. Since I already logged in and signed up, it's just going to ask me to authorize proving access to my birthday data, which I'll allow this one time. It's very sensitive stuff. Okay, now get me add a birthday for Jim on Jan 15th. I'm going to add this and then I'm going to call and get all the birthdays for January. And you're going to see that's pulling the same birthdays from ChatGPT. Yeah, always allow. And then boom, okay, can you get me all the birthdays for January? Okay, and there you go. It's getting the birthday I added for Fred from ChatGPT, and it's getting me it in Claude. So you can use it on any app. You can use it with multiple users. And yeah, we literally just built a birthday app from scratch. We built a way of building apps, meaning we built an app generator. So now you can generate hundreds of apps or any apps in a few minutes. But yeah, we just did it. Congratulations. If you made it this far, not only did you build a birthday app, which is super boring and anyone can do, but you built a method and a tool for building any app you want. That could be like an inventory app, literally anything you can think of, you can now build directly with one prompt. We used one prompt to build the birthday app, and you can build, now that you have the infrastructure, with one prompt, almost any app you want. And then with a few clicks, you can figure it. This was very cool. It took me months and months to figure out how to do this. I kind of had this vision and then spent a while smashing my head against the wall to get everything to work. So I'm excited to see you guys follow along and see what you guys build. One note is, I know it's going to be very hard to build this without the skill. So I have a link in the description where you can purchase the skill. But once you have it, like, you can build almost anything you want, which is really awesome. In the next video, I may go over on how to update apps and then add in like multiple apps on one URL. So we have like birthdays, maybe you want like events or inventory or something under the same URL. So you just have multiple tools that you can add very quickly, and then adding your own custom domain. So those are going to be the next things. Hopefully afterwards, I want to go on to how we build apps using external tools. I'm hoping to get all this done, but no commitments. So yeah, that's just some things down the pipe. Looking forward to hearing in the comments what you guys think. Thanks for watching. The Wise Bubbler.